Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news as the sale process for Manchester United moves to its climax and Qatar are back in the race. Lots to get into on the show tonight. Genuinely, I'm late because look at that finger, it's bleeding. I'm a little bit, I've literally just closed it in the door and it's thundering. We'll have to keep an eye on that as we go through. I literally have closed that in a door and I've had about 5 pints, so I'm not really feeling the pain. But you know when you cut yourself and nothing happens and you think that's a bad one? And I'm like, now it's starting to bleed. Anyway, let's get into this. Look, I'm going to cut through the crap straight away here. I've had a few drinks. I wasn't expecting to be live tonight, but I've come back to do this and then I'm going back to the pub. So look, we've had a Mike Keegan update. We've had a Times update. Manchester United sale update on a Sunday. Don't normally get that. Welcome to the club. So basically, I'm going to cut through the crap straight away at the start of the video. I'm going to say this. The sale of Manchester United comes down to what many of you predicted for a long time. This comes down to whether the Glazers want to stay or whether they want to go. This is what it's going to come down to. The new bid from Qatar basically is very close to what Sir Jim has offered. So the bids are pretty much the same. There's not a lot in it. It's pretty much the same. So basically what you've got here is a scenario where whether the Glazers, who don't own the club anymore, want to stay with a bit of a percentage or whether they want to sell it all and walk away. And I'm going to say this quite clearly. Who's the prat who's giving them an option to stay? Because his name's Sir Jim Radcliffe. Like, this is where we are now. Call it for what it is. You can be pro Sir Jim all you like. You can be anti-Qatar. You can be pro Al-Thani. You can be anti-Sir Jim. It doesn't matter. This comes down to two bids that are ridiculously close together. And it's whether the owners of Man United, who've destroyed this football club, the Glazers, whether they want to stay with a little bit of ownership or they go and take their money. And I say again, when we are in the final days of this sale process, and it really does come down to whether they cash out and leave or whether they stay, who's the prat giving them an option to stay? Sir Jim Radcliffe would have a lot more respect if he had the money to buy the whole club. Why? And I ask this question for the millionth time, why can't Sir Jim Radcliffe buy the whole fucking club? Why can't he do it? Why can Al-Thani do it, but Sir Jim can't? Why? I'm not saying Sir Jim's going to be a bad owner, but why can't he buy the whole fucking club? Why are we sat here tonight going, right, we literally are in a position now where the bids are pretty much the same. Al-Thani wants the whole club. Sir Jim wants about 60%, and he's keeping the Glazers. Why the fuck can't you get hold of the whole club, mate? Tell us, why the fuck are you not buying the whole club? And you know what? I pardon me for the language. I have been down the pub. I'm sorry. But is that not? I could spend 45 minutes going through every report, talking about percentages, talking about what the predicted value is. But the bottom line, and this is nailed on because I've had people message me who are very, very, very good people. The bids are basically the same. They're basically the same. It might be slightly more for Sir Jim, but it's not a lot more. The bids are basically the same. Al-Thani will buy the whole lot. Sir Jim will buy 60%. And it's really down to whether the Glazers want to cash out or stay involved. And I say again, who's the prat keeping them involved? And why can't you buy the whole lot? Has anybody ever answered the question why Sir Jim Radcliffe cannot buy the whole club? If he's so good for Manchester United, why can't he buy the club? If he was so good for Chelsea, why was his bid less than Todd Boehly's? Why is Sir Jim Radcliffe the great hope for Manchester United when he couldn't bid enough to buy Chelsea? He told everyone his bid was the best, but he couldn't buy Chelsea. He didn't bid enough. And now he's doing the same with United. I'm the best hope for Manchester United, but I can't buy the fucking lot. And that's where we are. That is where we are. He cannot buy the whole club. I've got no choice. You've got no choice. But we have got our opinions, and that's what it's all about. And the reality is, you've got two bids, very close in value. One of them, the Glazers walk away. One of them, they get to stay. And who's the prat letting them stay? And I tell you why. I'll tell you why. Vanity project. And I'll tell you why. It's the only way you can get hold of the club. At some point along the road, looking forward to watching Skulls, he says Robert McCormack. At some point along the road, Sir Jim Radcliffe realised if he went head-to-head for the whole club, he'd get blown out the water. He'd get kicked out. It's like going to a nightclub with your trainers and your shorts on. You're not coming in. Piss off. You're not allowed in. So what he did is he figured out a way to try and get hold of the club in a backhanded way. Oh, you can stay, Joel. Avram, you can stay. I know the fan base want you to go. I know the fan base can't stand you, but I'm going to let you stay because that's how I get into the club. And that's basically what's happened here. That's what's happened. I feel that the Glazers will go. They've been using Jim to squeeze every penny out of Qatar, says Matthew. And Mr. Tanbridge, drunk on a Sunday night is the best, says Alexander. I tell you what, I don't know whether it's tan or heat. It's very, very hot. It's very, very hot in the UK at the moment, but we're loving it. Fingers crossed for Qatar and a decent transfer window, says Una. Well, look, let me summarise, because I don't know how many people watched Beth earlier. But basically, the Mike Keegan update from the Mail and the update from the Times goes like this. For the last few weeks, Sir Jim Radcliffe's been the favourite, and everyone expected him to win. And we've felt that. We've all felt that. Let's not lie. So Sir Jim Radcliffe... Bloody hell. So Sir Jim Radcliffe for the last few weeks has been the favourite. However, this fifth bid has gone in from Al Thani and it's levelled the playing field. And now the Qatari camp has basically gone from a week ago thinking they were going to lose to now thinking they're right back in the race. And I don't know whether they're going to win the race, but they're back in the race. And I'll take that. Bring it on. Get Gary Barlow on. Absolutely incredible. It's unbelievable. They were out of the race, Mark, and now they're back in it. I can't speak. Absolutely fantastic. It's magic. But look, I don't know. I still don't know. I'm terrified to predict that we'll end up with Full Sail and the Glazers out, because I don't know. I really don't know which way it's going to go. But what I do know is that Al Thani and Qatar are back in a race they were out of a week ago, and that's because of their latest bid. We're going to have to wait and see. They're saying that by the end of this week, we will get clarity on who's going to win. We're hearing that, that's going to happen this week. We've heard that a few times before. I'll believe it when I see it. But ultimately, I do want us to move on. I think we all want to move on. But I would still say this. I would take 6 months more of the Glazers if it meant Al Thani gets the club at Christmas. So I'm probably in the minority here. I'm not like, I just need resolvement. I just need to know. I don't need to know. If you're telling me that Al Thani will get it in 6 months, I'll wait 6 months. Short-term pain, long-term gain. I don't want this Jim Radcliffe thing. I don't know enough about it. Maybe I'm completely wrong, and if I am wrong, I'll say I'm wrong. But I know nothing about what he plans to do. I don't trust what he's about to do. I don't like what he's about to do. And based on the limited information I've got, I choose Al Thani. That's where I am. And it's got nothing to do with Manchester City winning the treble. I mean, can I just say, this is completely going off on a tangent. I expected the City treble to hurt more. I really don't feel it. And I want to thank Liverpool fans, Arsenal fans, Chelsea fans for ridiculing it as much as we have. Nobody respects it. Absolutely nobody respects that treble. When Manchester United won the treble in '99, it was on every newspaper, it was on every headline, everybody, you couldn't move for it. I've been down the pub, I've been round people's houses, I've had the TV on. It's just like it didn't really happen. It's like, I know it happened and I don't like it, but it's not as big as I thought it was going to be. I'm like, what? It's just not. Nobody respects it. It's ridiculous. I mean, Man City fans do, but nobody else respects it. Nobody at all. Maybe God respects it. That's thunder there. But look, no, on a serious, I want to talk about Manchester United. Sir Jim will be named preferred bidder to provoke a final huge bid from Qatar. We need to start getting players in and Deadwood out, says Slippy. Look, I think I can't give you a prediction on this, but what I can do is give you the clarity. And the clarity is we're expected to get a final answer in the next week. Al-Thani thought he was out of the race, but he's back in the race. Sir Jim thought he'd won the race, and now he's back in a competition. My personal view on this is, if the Glazers were so set on going with Sir Jim, it'd be over. It would be over. If you were so set with going Sir Jim and you don't want to sell the club, why are they still entertaining other bids? I think there's a price that the Glazers walk. It's just whether Al-Thani hits it. Because if they wanted to stay, and they were 100% certain they wanted to stay, this race would already be over. Sir Jim's offer's been on the table for a long time. You know, he wants to keep the Glazers, you can stay, I'm going to give value, I'm only going to buy half the club, blah, blah, blah. The reality is, the door has been kept open for Al-Thani and he's put another bid in. So, that doesn't mean that Sir Jim's not going to win. It doesn't mean Al-Thani's going to win. I mean, really, I know there's people that want Sir Jim win. I know there's people that want Al-Thani to win. I'm not going to sit here and say, you're screwed, it's coming home, bring on the oil. I'm not going to do that. And I'm not going to say, you're screwed, Sir Jim and the Glazers are going to win. I don't know which way it's going to go. But I feel that we've had some clarity, and I feel that the race is wide open where it probably wasn't. Hi Mark, just managed my first game of football. I used tactics like yours and lost 7-5. Hope you're having a good day after yesterday, says Zakari. Well, I presume you had a shit twat in goal then, because that's the only way I lose. Thomas, welcome to the Members Club, and goes to show that those 3 or 4 Fridays we got of Jim winning next week were all about getting the 4th and 5th bids. Exactly, Glenny boy. And as soon as I seen an interview of Jim Radcliffe calling the Glazers gentlemen, I had serious doubts. Pray Glazers do the decent thing and sell to Sheikh Jazim. I mean, Gabrielle, one of the things I would say that's quite interesting to me is that, I don't know whether you've noticed this, but it keeps getting mentioned that Al-Thani is going to offer a certain amount of money with the promise of £1 billion of investment. I don't know why this keeps getting mentioned. This was only relevant to Chelsea. When Chelsea were bought, they were basically being sold by the British government. So you offered 2.75 for Chelsea, and then you said you're going to invest 1.5 billion after that. So it's relevant because you're basically being sold by the government. But for Manchester United, why do the Glazers give a shit? If you say to the Glazers, I'm going to give you 5 billion and then I'm going to pump £1 billion into United, they're going to go, I don't fucking give a shit. Give me 6 billion. I don't really care what you put into United. So I don't know why that keeps being a story. I don't know. Maybe the minds in the chat can give me more of information on that. But this has been mentioned a few times where Al-Thani's put a bid in and said, the Glazers get 5 billion, but we'll pump in £1 billion. And I don't know what relevancy that has. The only point I can think is you give the Glazers 5 billion for their 69%, and then you say to the shareholders, we're going to pump £1 billion in. But they're buying 100%, so it doesn't make sense. I don't understand that one at all. Lance Armstrong, Ben Johnson, and Milli Vanilli respected the City treble, says Daniel. Milli Vanilli, why did they get done? Milli Vanilli, they were a bloody group. Oh, didn't they nick the tunes to other people's songs and stuff? But look, in relation to Sir Jim Radcliffe, I have to try and be a little bit level-headed here. There will be people that want Sir Jim, so let's cater to those for a moment. So Sir Jim Radcliffe's bid was meant to be for all of the club. Then, that was last August, I want to buy all of the club, Sir Jim Radcliffe, and we all got really excited, and I was pro Sir Jim. Then in September, October, he said what great people the Glazers were, and we thought, what the fuck's going on here? Then in November, the Glazers put the club up for sale. Then early this year, Sir Jim wanted to buy the club. He wanted to put the Manchester back into Manchester United. Yeah, I haven't got a fucking clue what that means, but Casemiro and Martinez, pack your bags. I don't know. I don't know what it means. God knows what putting the Manchester back into Manchester United means. I don't know. Brexit means Brexit. God knows. I haven't got a clue. But he came in with his bid, which we thought was for 100%. Turns out it's for 69%. Turns out it's for 50%. Turns out it's for 60%. Turns out it's for 49%. Turns out we haven't got a bloody clue, and I don't think he has either. We don't know what Sir Jim Radcliffe's bid is, because for some reason, And we've tried, and I'm sure more credible, bigger, blue tick journalists have tried and hit a brick wall. There is nothing coming out of Sir Jim Radcliffe's camp about clarity to us, United fans. We've put the emails in. I'm sure many other people have and said, you know what? Your campaign is like a hedgehog's pillow. It is full of holes. You are not popular. Nobody knows what you're trying to do. Surely, when you've got Al Thani saying, I'm going to buy all of the club, 100%, I'm going to clear the debt, and I'm going to invest massively. 3 simple lines, but 3 very positive lines. Surely, you don't want to be associated with you're buying the club, you're keeping the debts, and you're keeping the Glazers. It's not really a very good comparison. I want the club, I'll keep the debt, and I'll keep the Glazers, compared to I want all of the club, I'll clear the debt, and I'll throw loads of money in. I don't know why Sir Jim Radcliffe's team will not counter the negativity they have, but it terrifies me. Because if I was trying to buy something, and Mr. Across the Road, John, has got loads of popularity and loads of buzzwords, I'm not going to sit there with negativity and say nothing, unless that is what I'm going to do. Maybe Sir Jim won't counter the negativity, because actually it's a lot worse than we think, and therefore he can't be held to account. It terrifies me that he won't come out and clarify what's going to happen with the Glazers, clarify why he's keeping the debt, clarify why he can't buy all of the club. And maybe he's not clarifying it because actually it is what we predict, an absolute joke. Because if you come out and say, oh yeah, no, we're going to win the treble, I'm going to clear the debts in 2 years, and I'm going to own all of the club and pump loads of money in. We've had none of that. We've had none of that at all. And I'm not saying it won't happen, but why would you not put that out there? Why would you not put a bit of positive PR out there? There's been very, very little at all. So, look, let's see what the next few days bring. I think it's going to be really interesting. You know what I think? I want Full Sail, Glazers out, and Super Wealth. In that order. I want a Full Sail, I want the Glazers out, and I want Super Wealth. That's it. I got sent a message the other day saying that all Goldbridge wants is oil. He doesn't care about the Glazers being sold out of the club or anything like that. And I think, you know what? I laugh on your tears. I piss on your face. You know, I don't know what that means. But no, I literally laugh at your lies. I laugh at your lies. I piss on your face. You know, you disgust me. You disgust me. I have always... The great thing about doing loads of live shows for 7 years, or it's probably longer than that now. It's longer than 7 years. It's probably 8 years. It might even be 9. But the great thing about that is that I can't hide. I can't hide. And the reality is, if you've been watching the United stand for a year, or 5 years, or 9 years, or however long it's been, I've always been Full Sail and I've always been Glazers out. I couldn't give a shit if it's Al Thani, Elon Musk, or Dave down the road. As long as you're super wealthy, that's all I care about. I'm not bothered. I want the Glazers out, I want a Full Sail, and I want Super Wealth. In that order. Full Sail, Glazers out, Super Wealth. That's it. And then I look at it and go, who's in that category? And unfortunately, or fortunately, it's Al Thani. If Maguire turns down a full offer and instead goes on loan, forcing United to supplement his wages, does he become the most damaging United signing ever, says Bobby. I want to talk about those shower shits in a minute. It was also reported that both bidders showcased their plans for the stadium and infrastructure to the Glazers. Make it make sense. Again, Sheriff, I don't know why. I don't know what that means. Richard Davies, welcome to the Members Club. Do you think nobody will respect United if they get success under Qatar, says Sandeep. I think it's Sandeep. I think you made a very, very good point. I think you made a very, very good point. I don't think winning things with Super Wealth is respected, but ultimately, do you want to win things? He's buying 51%, which automatically turns into A stocks, so the Glazers will still have the most say with the 20% of B stocks. Something has shifted. I'm confident in Qatar, says Glazers out. And it's probably to remind some fans of the plans, Qatar investment. Also, the myth about United spending more than City is actually wrong. Since Pep, City have spent $1 billion. United have spent $1 billion as well, says Cyberspy. Mate, I don't want to... I'm going to go on off a tangent a few times tonight. Make sure you smash a like on the video if you're enjoying the video. But I'm tired of this. I cannot break through stupidity. There's a great line about don't argue with idiots because you've got to go down to their level and they're experts at being an idiot. I've tried so many times to win this argument and I can't win it because I'm arguing with idiots. I've even got Newcastle fans jumping in. I don't know why. I've got no problem with Newcastle. I really haven't. But basically, when you say Man City have got where they are off money, they come back with you and say you've spent more. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right, I'll try. So, have you won a treble off money? You've spent more. Okay, can you forget about everybody else for a minute? We're talking about Man City. Have you won everything you've won because of money? Yeah, but you've spent more. Fucking shut up about everybody else. Have you won everything you've won over the last 15 years because of Abu Dhabi? Yeah, but you've spent more. Shut the fuck up. Have you won everything you've won because of Abu Dhabi? Yeah, but you've spent more. And you just can't get past that. We need that to be successful. Yes, we do. But what they don't understand is, and will not accept, is that they are successful because they have Abu Dhabi. And Newcastle will be successful because they have Saudi Arabia. And that is why Manchester United fans want Qatar. And that is why some fans of other clubs would like Dubai or whoever else. Because if you have that money, you have a much better advantage. But you cannot break through. Are you successful because Abu Dhabi owns you? You've spent more. That's it. You just climb the ladder to intelligence and you say, see you later, pull the ladder up, deal with the idiots down there. They cannot grasp it. And I can't even explain to them why they're wrong because they cannot understand when you say, did you win everything because of money? You spent more. Yeah, we're not talking about us. Look, give me the billion Man United have spent over the last 10 years and I'll deliver you a Premier League, at least 3. We've thrown it on a bonfire. I admit that. We have spent a lot of money. But that doesn't take it away from the fact that if you want to be successful, you need to spend money, and Man City have proved that. Simple as that. It's so easy, and they don't understand it. They think because they've spent money and we've spent money, it's not the money that's made them successful, and I can't deal with that level of idiocy. They just don't get it. They think the money is not the reason. It is the reason, and it's how they've spent it, and they've spent it a lot better than us. Rival fans who say we spent more are idiots. City have spent 2 billion since the Abu Dhabi acquisition. Also, same article. Did you know Radcliffe only has 15 billion to his name? Look, we've spent money badly. Man City have spent money better than us. That's why they're successful. We've had the money. We've spent the money badly. We could, where they're right, but they don't get it right, is what they should say is, yes, our success is based on money, but you had the same amount of money and you could have been as successful as us. That's the argument. But they won't acknowledge the money. And that is what we need to get right over the next decade. The money's there, but spend it better. We've thrown it on a bonfire. I mean, look, if there are any Man City fans watching, open up another bottle of champagne and listen to this. £80 million on Harry Maguire. You know, Paul Pogba, 90 million. Sanchez, the highest paid player in Premier League history. You know, selling Chris Smalling for about 15 million and buying Harry Maguire for 80. The list goes on about how much money we've wasted. You know, ridiculous wages. We're a joke. We're an absolute joke. Absolute joke. We are a joke. And we don't even argue the fact that we're a joke. We are an absolute joke. I would love to go back to 2013 as the CEO of Manchester United and be told you've got over £1 billion to spend over the next decade. If I inherited as CEO or director of football, me, not Richard Arnold, not Ed Woodward, not David Gill, if I inherited the Premier League champions in 2013 and Sir Alex Ferguson retired, and I was told over the next decade you've got over $1 billion to spend, no fucking way do I just win Carabao Cups, FA Cups and the Europa League. No way. Not in a million. And no, the same with you as well. The same with you as well. We have been a shit show for a decade. Absolute facts. We are an advert in how to spend money badly. We've had over £1 billion in 10 years and we were the Premier League champions in 2013. Absolute shit show. Give me that £1 billion back in 2013 and I'll deliver you at least 2 Premier League titles. It's been a shit show. But you need money to be successful because we still need 6 or 7 players from this point. You do need the money. We've just spent it ridiculously badly. And that is why we need the Glazers to go. We need a full sale. And we need a complete and utter rebuild of not just the playing staff, but the structure, the recruitment, everything. That is what we need. And look, people will say you wouldn't. I guarantee you I would. I would deliver at least 1 Premier League title from 2013 if you gave me the $1 billion that we've had. Because I wouldn't have bought half the shit we've bought for a start. I just wouldn't have done it. Absolutely not. How will Qatar wealth be different? It's not about super wealth. It's about how you spend it. Exactly, Rory. You're absolutely correct. You've got to spend it better. And that is... Look, the grass ain't always greener. But it's definitely greener if you move yourself away from what we've seen for the last 10 years. What we've seen at Manchester United over the last 10 years is mates rates, apathy, narcissists, and basically protection of each other. We have fucked it massively. Absolutely massively. We've overpaid on wages. We've overpaid on agent fees. We've overpaid on players. We've not done our homework. We've kept people in positions within the club who aren't good enough. We've recruited people who aren't good enough. Nobody's heads rolled in 10 years. And what I mean by that is no one's significant's been sacked. And yet we've gone from Premier League winners, one of the best teams in the world, to what we are now. We need to bring in specialists. You need to bring in the best CEO. And if he doesn't do well, you sack him. If the same with director of football. You need elitism. What you need is, when you have a season where you finish second, someone gets the sack because we're Manchester United. That's what Real Madrid do. That's what Barcelona do. That's what the best teams do. Only first place is good enough. And for some reason, over the last 10 years, we've become more fixated with coffee machine brands and bed brands than we have on what we are as a football club. We brandified Manchester United. We turned it into a franchise and we got bled dry. And now the franchising doesn't work anymore because we're not successful on the pitch. We took our eye off the ball. The reason City's treble is suspect is because of financial fair play. So far, United doesn't breach financial fair play, says Mr. Sahaj says that United and Liverpool won over a decade in a level competitive space and created the commercial might they have today organically. City had it infused artificially, which got them the best manager and the player. Simple as that. Sahaj, don't complicate things. Man City fans don't even acknowledge that they've spent any money. Do not even complicate things. I can give it you in a sentence. Manchester United could spend double what they've spent over the last 10 years if we weren't owned by the Glazers. We are and always have been in £500 million of debt. We have and always have been giving the Glazers at least £30 million a year in dividends. Manchester United have spent £1 billion in the last year, whilst also being in debt and having debt repayments and dividends to pay. If we had a proper owner that didn't put us in debt and didn't take dividends, we could have spent £2 billion in the last 10 years. So yeah, £1 billion is a lot of money to throw on the bonfire, but we could have spent £2 billion. Where does that £2 billion come from? Revenue. It comes from you. It comes from sponsors who want you to see them. Manchester United's revenue is legitimate. And we could have had a hell of a lot more. But don't go down that road because they won't understand it. We've spent £1 billion across 5 different managers. Half of those players aren't even there. Pep walked into the Champions and spent every year, says Nick B. Richard Arnold, the CEO of Manchester United, who did an interview in a pub this time last year, admitted, what have we got to show for £1 billion? Mark, what are your expectations next season if Ten Hag gets fully back, says Braden? I can't answer that question. I literally cannot answer that question because I don't know what Arsenal have done, what Liverpool have done, what Chelsea. I don't know what everyone else has done yet. And I don't know what we've done. So I can't answer that. Right, I'm about to drop an absolute G bomb. You're gonna, you might like this, you might not like this, but I'm gonna do it anyway because the great thing about life is we have a massive community. We have a great community, but the whole point is you're not meant to agree. There are people out there who do content, right? And they smile at you and they want you to like them. They just want to be liked. Or they're knobheads and they just want you to agree with them. So if you've got the knobheads who want you to agree with them and just basically tell you why they're right, and you've got the nice people who just want you to like them, I'm sort of in between. Hopefully I'm likable, but hopefully I'm a bit of a knobhead as well. You don't have to agree with me. If you do, great. If you don't, great. Right, I'm going to drop this right now. United spent based on their profits earned. City don't have nearly the same amount of profit earned, says Omar. Manchester City's, just before I've not dropped the G-bomb yet. Get ready for it. Manchester City's shirt deal is £70 million a year. Manchester United's is 50. Make that make sense. In fact, there's 3 numbers that make that make sense. 1, 5. How the hell have Man City got a £20 million a year transfer shirt deal more than ours? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Trying to fool us, you drink water. Bet that's vodka. No, that generally is water, mate. Right, get ready for this. This could go. You know me. I'm not really bothered. I respect you. I like you. But that if I was down the pub with my mates now, I'd say it. So you're going to get it. You're going to get pure honesty here. I saw a picture of Luke Shaw walking into England camp tonight smiling, and I was fuming. I was absolutely fuming. I really was. I was like, you are. And I feel sorry for Luke. And I'm happy to say it because I like Luke Shaw. He's one of my favourite players. I've always backed him. I really do like him. I've got no problem with him. It could be Bruno Fernandes. It could be anybody. It doesn't matter. But when I see Luke Shaw smiling as he walks into England camp, I'm like, and I know what people are going to say. Why shouldn't he? Why shouldn't he? He likes playing for England. You know, what's he supposed to do? Walk in crying? I get that. I get that side. Absolutely fine. I respect it. But I'm not on 200 grand a week. I'm a Manchester United fan. I'm fucking fuming that we have just had to witness Man City win a treble. I don't really describe today as my best Sunday. I describe it as a day where I've been pretty irritated. I don't appreciate Man United players walking into England duty, Portugal duty, wherever with a big smile on their face. I don't. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm in the minority, but I do not appreciate it. I don't like it. And I tell you what it does. It exposes the problem at United. You are paid players. And that is a problem because you're not good enough. If you're going to be here as hired guns, you better be fucking lethal. I don't mind if you don't support Man United. But you better be Erling Haaland, you better be Kevin De Bruyne, you better be Gundogan, you better be Bernardo Silva. I don't mind you being a mercenary. But if you are a mercenary, I want you to be a fucking lethal mercenary. Ideally, I want you to sweat, bleed and shit for Manchester United. But I know that's a rarity in the modern game. But I do not want to see Man United players walking in smiling into international duty when our biggest rival have just won a treble. And people can say, I get it. I completely get it. I totally get it. Why shouldn't they enjoy going on England duty? But I'm a Man United fan. And I'm pissed off. So why shouldn't I say that pisses me off as well? It's all about brand. Fucking hell, it's all about brand. It's all about perception. I'm sorry, I don't like it. I like pineapple on a pizza. I'm sure many of you don't. I don't like it. I don't like seeing Manchester United players wandering, smiling, having a good time when I'm going through some shit. I don't like what's happened I don't like where we are. I'm sorry, I don't. That I've said it. I could have kept that to myself, but I've said it. And I tell you what, if those players smiling were winning the treble for Manchester United, I wouldn't give a shit. They could walk in their Bermuda shorts singing Gareth Southgate's The GOAT. I don't care. But we're bloody miles off. I'm hurting, and I don't actually like seeing Manchester United players on 200 grand a week walking in smiling when we've just had a massive kick in the nuts. I don't. And I personally think that's part of the problem with United. And I personally think this is why we can go to Anfield and get smacked up. St James's Park and get smacked up. Because ultimately, I think our mercenaries aren't as good as Man City's. And I think, to be honest, if we're being completely honest, most footballers these days are hired guns. And we need to buy the best hired guns, because we're not going to get Giggs, Beckham, Scholes. We're not going to get them anymore. I guarantee you, David Beckham, Paul Scholes and Ryan Giggs would not be walking into international duty with a big grin on their face the day after Man City had done a treble. They wouldn't do it. Maybe I'm old school, but football is not about that anymore. Football is not about I live, bleed, and I'm a Red. I know that. I'm not naive. That's what fans are for. But let's not pretend that we've got a squad of players that can compete with Man City. And until we do, that's the level we have to demand. I don't mind. And I think people might be misinterpreting this. I don't mind if a Man United player walks into England international duty with a big grin on their face at the end of the season, but you better make sure you've got a Premier League winners medal in your back pocket. And you better make sure we've not just lost the treble to Man City. That's all I'm saying. Mark, I don't like you. I bloody love you. Recovering from a dislocated knee, so thank you for keeping me entertained, says Mubin. I hope you're doing well, mate. Qatar need to ask what it will take for Glazers to walk away, either agree or withdraw. I'm sure it's not that simple, says Grant. And United and Liverpool... look, a few people not necessarily agreeing with me there. All I'm saying is, if I'm the manager of Man United, I'm looking at that and I'm going, I need the right players at this football club. And the one thing I will always say about Man City, there is no way on God's earth Kevin De Bruyne gives a shit about Man City before he signed for them. There is no way. He played for Chelsea, he played for Wolfsburg. Ain't got a bloody clue who Paul Dickoff is. He signs for Man City for money because they want to buy him. And then he puts on that Man City shirt and it's all he gives a shit about. He doesn't give a shit. Man City, that's all he cares about. He's a mercenary, 100%. Every player that signed for Man City is basically a mercenary. None of them bloody grew up with Man City pyjamas or anything like that. No, they didn't. But where Man City have done brilliantly well is they know what they are. They're buying success, but they buy the best. They buy the best character and the best player. So that whether Kevin De Bruyne is putting on a Man City shirt, a Liverpool shirt, an Arsenal shirt, he will give 100% every game. And that is what Man United need to do. And that is where we're losing. Because what we get excited about is Instagram posts about, oh, I fucking love Man United. I fucking love Man United. I tell you what, I don't care about whether you love Man United. I really don't care. Give me Kevin De Bruyne. Give me Erling Haaland. Give me Gundogan. I don't care anymore. That's history. Roy Keane, David Beckham, I lived it. I loved it. It was great. But it's like going on about the Beatles in the 60s. Never going to happen again. Those days are gone. It might come round again, but right here, right now, the successful teams buy players who aren't passion merchants. They're ridiculously mentality winners. Mentality kings. That's what you're looking for, and that's what Man United need to get. I said it this morning. It's not about, oh, he's a life... Rasmus Højlund supports Man United. Couldn't give a shit. Actually could not give a shit. Is he a talented player with the right mentality? Yes. That's why I want Rasmus Højlund. The fact that he supports Manchester United is a nice little bonus, but I guarantee you, if we don't sign Rasmus Højlund and he goes to Chelsea, do you think he's going to be shit because he supports Man United? You got to get the best. That's what you got to do. Football has no morals anymore. The only people with morals are you, the fans. fucking couldn't give a shit about who you support or what your passion is. We need to get the right players in. And when I see United players smiling their face off less than 24 hours after Man City winning the treble, I'm like, yeah, okay, this is the game. I know the game. I don't need United players to live, sweat and bleed for Man United. What I do need them to be is mercenary, elite sports people who, when they put that shirt on, they give a shit. That's all it's all about. What did you think of the heckler in Dublin, Mark? Says James. I don't take any notice. I just get in a rhythm. Let's hope Qatar wins and gives Eric Ten Hag the best tools to compete next season. We need the best to be the best, says Vincent. Inter's performance yesterday actually had me fuming at our players. Oh, Mario, I've probably not said it enough. Does United have any chance of bringing Bastoni? Hello from Brazil, says Robert. Hi, Mark. Please shout out to my mate, Adam. I was fuming. I can mention this now. Inter Milan are not, on paper, anywhere near the level of Manchester City. Inter Milan would have wiped the floor with Man United last night, and yet Inter Milan are just trying to win a European Cup. Manchester United, we should have been way better in that FA Cup final. I personally think that FA Cup final was a joke. If you take Varane was good, Lindelof was good, Shaw and Wan-Bissaka were reasonable, Casemiro was reasonable. The rest of them, I don't know what the fuck they were doing. I don't know. And look, we've got to look forward. We have to look forward. But Inter Milan last night made Man United look amateur. And I don't know what we were thinking in that final. But, to hear players and managers going, we're not thinking about the treble. Well, maybe you fucking should have done, because you weren't thinking about the FA Cup either. We can laugh at Man City's revenue, but a few more years on the current trajectory and Man United will actually be a smaller club, says Nida. Yeah, this is why. This is why you need it to change quick. Olivier, thank you very much. Welcome to Members Club. Yeah, look. All right, I've had a couple of drinks. I'm feeling quite passionate, but I'd love to see evidence of people within that football club that think and care like we do. And we're such a brand. We're so business-like, we're so grey, we're so emotionless, and actually we are Manchester United. It's one of the bloody best lines Gary Neville's ever come up with. We're Manchester United, and we've lost that. It made me so sad seeing David Beckham on the sidelines last week actually emotionally engaged in that game, and I thought, you know what, David Beckham's a relic. He's a legend, but he actually gives more of a shit than this lot. And I'm like, where have we gone? Where have we gone over the last decade? We're miles away from where we need to be. And look, that's a reason in itself. Forget the wealth, forget the full sale, forget Glazers out. What we actually do need as well is a reset. When your Wi-Fi is not working, or you can't get anything else to watch at work, and you turn it off and on, or you click the reset button with a pin. That's what we need. We actually do need a reset. We don't need more of the same. We don't need more of try again. We don't need more of this time it's going to work. We actually need, and every United fan would do it, if you had the option between seeing if it works again or hitting reset, we'd all hit reset. We need the reset button. And the reset button is only represented by a full sale. Because what Sir Jim is offering is, well, we know what he's offering. We don't know what he's offering. That's the whole point, but it's certainly more of the Glazers. Mark, I do wonder if the sale had been done sooner, we would have got Rice instead of Arsenal. Tomo, I think you've made a brilliant point there. Whether you want Declan Rice or you don't want Declan Rice, if he signs for Arsenal, he's signing for Arsenal because we're not ready. I know that for a fact. I know Declan Rice has been spoken to by Man United, and I know that he would come to Manchester United. I'm not saying he'd pick us over Arsenal, but if he picks Arsenal over Man United, it's because they're ready to go. We're not ready to go. Ganacho and Lissandro give me a lot of hope. I think they embody the spirit. Lissandro is a warrior, says Sumi. And Mark, thoughts on Onana's performance? Made De Gea's kicking look amateur, says Nahum. Well, yes and no. Yes and no. The class of 92 knew it mattered. Let's hope the 92 foundations get it mattered again, says Mojo. I think that, I saw Edison yesterday. I thought he was kicking out for an injury, and he wasn't. He was trying to pass it. So, You know, all these elite passing goalkeepers make mistakes as well. But I've already said it. I said it on the morning show. I said, look, you know what? If you want to go and get a goalkeeper that can pass out from the back, I thought there was a pass from Onana yesterday. They were losing 1-0 at the time, so there's probably about 10 minutes to go, maybe less than that. He's got the ball. He's in his box. He's being closed down by Man City players. He takes a touch. There's not a pass on. He's getting pressed. He's under danger. And he smacks a ball 50 yards straight down the middle of the pitch, along the ground. And I thought, what the fuck's this? This is going to go wrong. It goes to the halfway line straight to an interplayer. And I'm like, fucking hell. I was like, that's the pass of the game for me. That is like straight down the middle along the ground. Accurate. I thought, bloody hell. You know, that's impressive. And look, De Gea's never going to do that. He's never going to do that. But De Gea's probably, and is actually, a better shot stopper than Onana. So it's all about the balance, isn't it? But I look, we're not buying a goalkeeper in the current state. Simple as that. Disagree about buying mercenaries. We need players to play for the badge. Heart goes a long way. Plenty of top players who are United fans, Osman, etc. Steg. I completely disagree with you, mate. You don't buy United fans as players. John Terry's a United fan. He was a Chelsea legend. Steven Gerrard grew up as an Everton fan. I don't give a shit whether they're a United fan. I really don't. You know, if you want United fans, let's start Brandon Williams next year. You know, he was giving it large on Instagram last night. Do you want Brandon Williams or do you want Afonso Davies? You know, it's a prime example. I couldn't give a shit whether they're a United fan, and I don't really care about them gobbing off on Instagram or whatever. You know, if they're the best left back in the world, that's absolutely fine. I want the best. I want the best. We're the fans. We're the fans. We don't need players who are fans. We need players who are the best at what they do. That's fine. Man City have created a blueprint, whether you like it or not. They are not die-hard Man City fans. They are die-hard winners who play for Man City. And Man City benefit from that. It's as simple as that. Watching that final once again highlighted for me how crucial the goalkeeper position is. If we have any budget left and there's time, I'd love a new goalkeeper. Again, I disagree with you, Nick. We had one of the best defences in the league. If we hadn't conceded 7 and 6 to Man City and Liverpool, we would have the best defence in the league. We had the most clean sheets in the league. We only conceded 9 at home. Our defence is our strength. Watch it back if you want to, but last season we won a lot of games by the odd goal. Our biggest priority next season is a striker and scoring more goals. We don't score enough goals. That's the biggest problem. I'm not saying that the goalkeeper isn't. I'm not saying that the midfield isn't. But we need to score more goals, and that is why we need a striker in before we go on tour. If you're watching the games in America, you need to see new strikers. I watched the game last night. Why didn't we play like that in the FA Cup? You speak my mind, mate, says Roman. Yeah, I don't know. Agree, Mark. We just want the best professionals and the most talented. Also, can you call my mate Scott a prat for supporting Liverpool, says Max. You know what? I've got to respect Liverpool fans. I don't like Liverpool, but I've got to respect them because they've been as angered by Man City as much as we have. And we don't like Liverpool. It's a real rivalry, but actually there is a symmetry there. We don't like each other, but, you know, they have a bit of symmetry. They have a history. They have a real fan base. They have a real football club. We don't like each other, but, you know, there's more credibility to it. Mark, the reason City are able to inflate their sponsorships deal is because Abu Dhabi also owns the sponsors, says Tony. And super wealth is the only way. Qatar are in this for the long haul. It's not just about buying the club, but the land around the stadium, in my opinion, says James. Well, look, thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in tonight. I hope we're going to have a big week. I really do. I need to get back down the pub. I can't lie anymore. I hope we're going to have a big week. I hope we are going to get an answer. The fact that Qatar are back in the race when they felt that they weren't back in the race is a positive. It doesn't mean they're going to win the race, but I still stand by what I say. Full sail, Glazers out, super wealth. It's the only way we're going to compete. I do think, though, you know, having seen Man City win this treble and seen how little credibility people are giving it, not just Man United fans, everybody. No one's really acknowledging it in the way that they probably thought they would. If we do get super wealth and we do win a Premier League, I hope it happens. having seen and witnessed us win many Premier League titles, I wonder what it'll feel like. And that won't be our fault. That's football's fault. Football is what it is. I think some people say, I don't want Qatar because if we won the league with super wealth, it wouldn't feel as genuine. And I feel like going, you're an idiot, because Man City are doing it already. Newcastle will be doing it soon. If you sit back with your morals, you will never win anything. You're not going to win a moral Premier League anymore. It's not going to happen. So you either take the cheat code or whatever you want to call it and win a Premier League and see what it feels like, or you win nothing. Mark, what do you think about the Sancho rumours that Spurs are thinking of placing a 50 million bid? Not even heard it, Victor. If you see the post-match interview, not one City player said it was an honour to play for the club or the badge. They all said it was for their teammates, as V. And there's factually a creative problem with our wingers and midfield. Anthony must have a stellar season next, and we better fix this in the summer, says Mario Franco. And one major fear no one mentions is that Jim is old and his sons and daughters will come in later, exactly like the Glazers, says Rohit. There we go. Well, make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe. Don't forget, we desperately need a number 8, says United Av. Which player would you sign for this role? I've got loads of players. Can you remind me about that tomorrow night? Because I do want to go down the pub. You need... Finger's all right, Joseph. It's actually solidified. It's fine, look there. What about the Maguire issue you said you'd speak on, says Clayton? Well, it's sort of the Luke Shaw thing, really. And Sheikh Jazim will make United the best club. It's his favourite club. Imagine owning your favourite club, says Ali. Well, let's see what the week brings. I just want to say before I go down the pub, Manchester United stand. We were in Dublin last week. If you are a member, make sure you watch the first half of the live show on stage. Lots of you've watched it. It's still there to be watched. The second half is coming out this week, but the first half is about 45 minutes long. Ricky's on it as well, live in Dublin on the members section. Thanks everyone for watching.